everybody, it's Craftin' Just Because with Chris Cowan. I'm just getting comments set up here. Hope you can join me today. If not, you'll get to watch a replay, and that's totally cool too, right? I know I like to go back and watch replay videos. Okay. Perfect. So we're all set up. I am going to go ahead and start our project. And I want to apologize first off. We're using this sweet strawberry stamp set. This is available right now from Stampin' Up. Hi, Kathy. But the punch is not. And so I do apologize. I had this project set up to do and didn't realize, what was it? Not yesterday. Tuesday, I found out the punch is on back order and it's going to be a while. But you could still get the stamp set, which is great. And I created what's called a Bendy card, and I actually shared a post on it, but I didn't show you guys how to make it. So we're going to make it today, but it's just a flat piece of cardstock. So it folds in, or it goes into a normal A2 size envelope, and it bends out like this. So it'll stand up if people want to display it. Hi, Kathy. I'm glad I have both my Kathys on. You guys are so reliable. Thank you guys. So this is what we're going to make today. I'm going to show you how super simple and easy it is. The hardest part of my card is going to be making the little basket, because we're going to do a little paper weaving. That's it. Pretty simple, right? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. What you're going to need are, I'm getting my directions out. So I have 9 strips of crumb cake cardstock that is cut at 1/2 inch by 4.5 inches. That's what we're going to use to weave our basket together. And then I pre-cut a couple little greenery pieces from the celebration set, but we're actually going to be using the strawberry today. Then I have a piece of Pacific Point cardstock that is cut at 4.25 by 5.5. And then we have the following pieces of Designer Series paper cut. And I do apologize again, this is a celebration item, so it's not available, but it went with this card and I just had to use it. So I do apologize. But you could make this background using the stamp set, okay? So we have a piece that's cut at 4 inches by 5.25 inches. A piece that's cut at 1 by 6 inches. And then a little square that's cut at 1.5 by 1.5. And then we have a piece of basic white cardstock that is cut at 5 by 3.25. And then I have a scrap of Whisper White cardstock that we're going to do some strawberries on. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this. What you're first going to do is we're going to adhere our Designer Series paper to the back of our card base. And I know you're thinking, oh wait, it's scored. Well, it doesn't matter. We're going to do the scoring together. So I'm going to go ahead and add adhesive to the back of my card base, to the top of my card base. Okay. I'm going to let that set for just a moment. I'm going to come in with my my card or crumb cake card pieces. And what I'm going to do is I lay them out like this. And then you're going to weave these in and out of the cardstock, okay? So what I did is I put it under just like this. And once you get it started, it's easy, okay? So see how I weaved that together? And then we're going to do the opposite on the other one. So this one's going to go under, over, whoops, come on, there we go, over, under, okay, so see how they're now starting to stick? That's exactly what you want. And then we're going to do a couple more pieces here. And I just do it the opposite of the one that I just did. And it doesn't matter if they're not even. We're going to put it nice and even here in just a moment, because we'll glue it into place. And then our last one here. This is the hardest part of the whole project, my friends. Okay, now that you have it all wove together, you're going to get them nice and put into place, nice and tight. Okay. I just use my nail to move them over. And then what I did was I'm going to come in on the ones that are on the top, and I'm going to glue them down in place. Oops, that one was a lot of glue. Okay, then I'm going to flip it over, do the same thing, the ones on the top. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it to the back side and do the same thing. So now the top pieces are going to get glued down. Okay, now we're all set and ready. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our paper cutter, our paper trimmer. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to flip our card base onto the back, and we're going to score it at 2 3/4. Okay. That's the first thing we're going to do. And then I'm going to set that aside. Then I'm going to take my 1x6 strip of designer series paper, and I'm going to score it at 1/4 of an inch on both ends. Okay. Then I'm going to take my little 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch square, and I'm going to put it in to my paper trimmer diagonally, and I'm going to cut it in half just like that. And then we're going to take our basic I can't talk. Our basic white cardstock, and we are going to score it at 1/2 inch on each end. Okay, and then before we're, let's see here. Then we're going to take our basket and we're going to trim off all the extra cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead, trim off my ends. Trim off my ends. Trim those ends off. And then one more. Okay, so there's our little basket. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of all these pieces. And we might need to do a little bit more gluing of our basket because I see a few of my pieces I didn't get totally laid flat. But it's looking pretty good overall. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to take our Whisper White cardstock and we're going to bend our score lines to the back. And what that's going to do is that's going to set there like that so it'll pop out, okay? Then we're going to do the same thing on our designer series paper. We're going to bend those back. And that's going to also come out and bend like that. Okay, so now I'm going to take my basket and I'm going to need to trim it some more once I get it in place. I got to decide which is my favorite view. Thinking like that. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. Now I'm going to make sure that I glue it on this side of my score line because these sides are going to get glued to the back. Okay. And then I'm going to take my designer series paper and I'm going to glue down like I have a little tablecloth sticking out. Now, like I said, this designer series paper is not orderable anymore. However, you can use any of our designer series papers to do the same thing or create your own. Okay. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to come back in and trim off the piece of the basket that I didn't use. And before we're done here, we also want to stamp our sentiment up in the corner here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this hello there. And I'm going to use real red ink. And I'm going to stamp that in the right hand corner, just like that. And then let's do a little bit more stamping while we have the ink out. And then we'll put our finishing touches on our card. So for this stamping, I am going to bring in my Stamparatus because I want to show you guys a cool trick for when the punch is back in stock. You're going to bring in your, I can't think, some Whisper White cardstock. Okay. And then what I did is I punched out of a scrap piece of Whisper White I keep calling it Whisper White cardstock. It's basic white cardstock. I punched a hole punch of the punch. And I'm going to place it down here on my board. And then I'm going to line up my stamps in there so that I could punch everything out at one time. Nice and easy, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put my strawberry down. And I'm going to, I like to put a stamp case underneath there. I'm going to stamp up my strawberry. This is where those ink spot Stampin' Spots come into play that are nice when you get those in your paper pumpkin, because they're the perfect width for those. Now don't fret, I know I didn't get it exact. We're gonna fix that here in just a moment. I'm going to move this down really quick before I get rid of that color. And do another strawberry. You guys are awfully quiet today. Really? Oh, I think it's because it's too wet. Okay, let's try this again. I knew I should have dried it off a little better. Let's make sure that's... Nope. I moved it. I'm just making a mess here. Okay. I think we're ready now. I wanted to do this a couple times to make it easy, but I'm making a complete and utter mess. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one, Kathy. I should have gotten out my Stampin' Spots. That would have just made life way easier. Okay, so I'm done with my red. Now I'm going to come in with my cherry cobbler. Notice how I hesitated there because I was thinking of something else. And I'm going to use that. There we go. Bring this back over. Stamp this again. Oh. Whoa. We got to move the strawberry. Okay. There we go. Man, I'm making a hot mess. Okay, now let's do the leaf. Should we do the leaf really quick? I just was trying to show you guys a real quick technique there. I think what I'm going to do is punch the leaf out of Granny Apple Green cardstock just to make it a little quicker here. But I'm going to keep that pattern, and what I do is I just keep that in my stamp set. So I just add that to there with my stamp set. Okay. So now what I do is I punch out my strawberries, and I would punch out my leaves at the same time normally. But since I'm talking and don't want to keep you guys here all night, I'm going to keep the flowers though. And I'm going to bring in a scrap of Granny Apple Green. And we'll punch some greenery this way. Okay. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we are going to glue down our sides. So on this, I like to use some tear and tape. Okay. And then I'm going to take and remove the adhesive, or not the adhesive, but the backing. Okay. And I'm going to center this into the center of the card. Just like so. Then I'm going to put that side down and then put that side down. Okay. So now I'm going to kind of push it where the bend line is. And now what we're going to do is we're going to bring our paper trimmer back in and we're going to score it at 2 3/4. Ooh, don't get the blade. Okay. Just like that. And then do the back one more time because there's so many layers. So now when you bend it, it'll bend with the card, just like that, okay? So now we're gonna do the same thing to our designer series paper piece, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use my liquid adhesive glue because it's a tinier section there. Put that down. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my strawberry. First, I think I'm going to add some greenery back here first. And then I'm going to add so I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue on my greenery piece. And then I'm going to add glue to my strawberry here. And then I'm going to add my topper to my strawberry, just like that. So now I'm just gluing all my little pieces down. So super easy. As you saw, you could either use designer series paper, regular cardstock. You could cut these out, whatever you wish. And then I have one last little piece to my little card here. I think I'm going to kind of bend this with my nail, kind of give it more of like a leaf look. Glue that down. And I'm not going to add that last little leaf. Okay, so now what I'm going to show you guys, one last thing here. I'm going to then come in with my playing with patterns dots, and I'm going to add the yellow to the center of these flowers. And then you just bend your card up And that's your card. So here's the example that I had. So I'm just showing you how I changed it up just a tad bit. And then here's this. And then what's nice is it'll fold flat to mail. And there's not a lot of bulk there. Thank you guys. Sorry I was such a messy stamper today. But at least I didn't mess up on my measurements, right? So I'm so glad you guys joined me today. Until next time, I will see you guys next week. There should be a YouTube video tomorrow, so look out for that. But otherwise, you guys have a fabulous weekend and take care of yourselves. And Kathy S., I'm thinking about you, okay? So you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks, Kathy. Good night.